Bryan John Appleby, so happy to have you come play a show.
Thanks for having me.
How's tour going so far?
Good. Yeah, it's been a very restful tour so far. We've had every other night off, so maybe that's good since it's our first one. So easing into it, we'll be playing a lot from this point on, and then I'm going out to Chicago after this and back, so yeah, it's not a bad thing that it's starting slow, but yeah, I don't know, I'm having a good time. Played hometown last night and it was a blast. Awesome.
Yeah, a lot of folks came out to the Crate Place.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? Was that overwhelming, seeing all those familiar faces?
Yeah, it was too much. I mean, any one of those people I would have loved to be sitting in a bar with the two of us, you know, catching up, but it was too much with everyone. I had to hide out for most of it. It was just, yeah. I mean, some of those people I haven't seen in like a year and a half, 2 years. There's like people from high school that showed up and stuff, so people that didn't even know I played music and just stumbled upon the show, like, is that Bryan John? Is that Bryan? He didn't know he did anything, so it's a little bit much, but it's really, really fun.
Yeah.
The band was on, so.
You guys sounded great.
Thanks.
I really enjoyed it.
Cool.
So The Lake, the song you just
Yeah.
played, can you tell me kind of, you know, what, maybe the story behind it or what inspired you to write it?
Man, that's actually, I don't know, that song came late in the game for the album. That was maybe the second to last song that I wrote, and I don't know, that was more of just, a lot of the songs on the album sort of have the same cast of characters running through the narrative, and so, yeah, that one, it wasn't necessarily meant to be like a concept album, and I wasn't necessarily trying to make it be a, you know, the same, you know, the story of the same guy or anything like that, but it ended up sort of having, the album ended up sort of having this consistency, and it could almost be looked at as a timeline for this, you know, one man's life. And so The Lake just sort of became, I mean, there's no personal experience, it's not autobiographical, and I don't know who it's about necessarily, but it did feel really appropriate, and it did sort of fall in line as one of the chapters for this greater story that unintentionally ended up being about this one guy, or could be interpreted to be about this one guy, so, who is nameless, and, you know, yeah. It could or could not be about him, but yeah. So it's about. The story was a lot more complex to begin with, and I finally trimmed it down to sort of this man who loses his wife and daughter in a storm, and it's from the point of view of either a friend or a brother, someone that, you know, another person that's really close to him, sort of trying to console him, and yeah, and sort of bleak with like just the very, like, you know, smallest splinter of hope at the end, that like they're gone but we'll all be gone, and this happens to everyone, so there's no need to be afraid, because everyone's had to die, even though it was untimely, sort of thing. So, but it doesn't get much more hopeful than that. I don't know if that's hopeful. That seems hopeful to me at this point. That's comforting to me. So that was the idea. Yeah.
Great. Just from, I mean, even the way you're speaking in this interview and the way your lyrics are, it seems as though you're influenced by maybe just outside of music, also literature and poetry. Are there any writers or poets that you relate to or that you connect with?
Yeah, I think if I had to pick a handful that I sort of drew from their wells for this album. It's a lot. I'm reading a lot of novels. I haven't done much poetry, but yeah, for this album I was reading Annie Dillard. I was reading Flannery O'Connor, and Steinbeck's always sort of hanging around, and Marilyn Robinson. I hit a couple of her books too, so yeah, those were, I mean, in the last year and a half, those are sort of the ones that stand out. Yeah, I read a couple Michael Chabons, but I don't think that made its way into the songs at all. He's a little more fantastic than I am. So.
Yeah, I mean, if
fantastical, rather.
Talking about the lake, did you read The Violent Buried then?
I did. I read that. It's interesting, sort of the crossover. I feel like I was almost like, I don't know. I'm trying to remember which ones I read before. I must have written that after that I read that book. I read that book like, maybe 8 months ago. She was kind of the last one I started reading before I finished these songs up, so like, 80% of them had already been done, but some of the later, like The Road, The Lake, and a couple of the images from and The Revelation. Those 3 songs were the last ones I wrote, and she's all over those for sure. Like, there's a couple that were just like direct references from her, so I didn't even put that one together, but yeah, absolutely. So.
Yeah. Okay, so you were living in Santa Cruz and moved to Seattle. What are and you were doing music when you were in Santa Cruz, right?
Yeah. I've always played drums, and sort of just tinkered around with guitar just because as a drummer I'm always around guitars. But in Santa Cruz, I was playing drums in a band called Caravel, and I moved up to Seattle with them. And then that broke up after a year, and it was at that point that I sort of was tired of only playing collaboratively, as drums are that way. So just wanted to see what happened when I was 100% control of a song rather than 25, just the rhythm section or something like that. So.
Do you think that starting off in drums somehow influenced the way you play guitar? Yeah,
definitely. Paul Simon is my number one, and he's just percussion city. So I think even the songwriters that I've gravitated towards, I have done that because they layer them, with interesting percussion, and I think, I'm sure it's been really nice to have in my back pocket as I'm writing songs and sort of have that understanding. So it's been helpful. It's definitely shaped the way I write.
Cool. So what's the music scene, what are the differences in music scenes between Santa Cruz and Seattle?
Oh man, there's no contest. Seattle blows it out of the water. I love Santa Cruz. When people ask me about Santa Cruz, I always just tell them it's beautiful and boring. Like, I love it. I love that I grew up there. I love that it's in me, and that I can go back there and feel nostalgia and all those things, but it felt just really stagnant, and there's just so much going on up in Seattle. There's, at any point we can just throw together a house show and find 4 really good musicians that will just play it. Like, we've done that a couple times where we don't even plan it or announce it until 24 hours beforehand, and then all of a sudden there's 60 people at our house and a really good bill, and everyone's having a great time. And the open mic, there's a couple open mics up there that are really cool, which I never thought I'd say about open mics. There's just so many different bands. It's just, I don't know. Especially as someone who's trying to write music, it's pretty necessary to have that sort of constant flow rather than like a stagnant pond where stylistically everything is being recycled. Like, there's a lot coming in that's different, that's new, and I mean, we all sort of feed off that, and we're always playing music up there. I think there's like 3 different bands that live in my house alone right now, so like, yeah, it's good. I love it.
So, you know, aside from maybe the folks that are on tour with you, what's 1 or 2 acts coming out of Seattle that you're really excited about?
My friend's band, Campfire OK, they're doing, they're not folk at all, which I mean, I play folk, that's what I'm doing, and I love it, but it's really refreshing to see something that's sort of more like, I don't know, polished, angular, indie rock, and they do a really good job at it. It feels really unique to them. Man, there's a couple guys that are just not even on the radar yet that I love. One of my roommates, actually, Steven Nielsen, sort of just getting going, and he's incredible. He's like the Neil Young of our generation or something. He's just super soulful and kind of quirky, and I don't know, he's really good. Johnny Palliner, another singer-songwriter that's kind of just, I don't know, in a cave writing songs, but when he finally comes out and shows them to us, we're like always blown away. Yeah, Pickwick, they're doing awesome, super fun. Yeah, I don't know.
I know, there's kind of an endless supply.
Yeah, exactly. Like, as soon as I think of one, like 4 more come to mind. But yeah.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much for carving time out during tour to come over and do a show.
Thanks for having me.